Watching News 9, English news as it should be.
Hello and welcome. You're watching In Your Interest with me, Shweta Kothari, and our top story at this hour continues to be Donald Trump's gold card. Tonight, we're talking about a story that has left millions of Indians asking one simple question. Has the American dream just been sold to the highest bidder? On 10th of December, US President Donald Trump officially launched the Trump Gold Card. You heard that right. The Emperor's name and image is on the card. For $1 million, you can now buy your way into permanent US residency. No job creation required, no years of waiting, just write a check and you're in. Critics say that it is akin to putting a for sale sign on the American borders. While the ultra-rich are being rolled out a red carpet, skilled professionals and families are finding the door slammed shut. And this isn't just a proposal anymore, it's a policy. After an initial announcement from the Oval Office in February this year, an executive order in September, the program officially went live yesterday. The administration has been clear about the goal, stating that selling just 200,000 of these cards could raise up to $1 trillion for national debt reduction. The demand is already there, with waitlist hitting 70,000 people back in June. And let's start with what this gold card actually is. It's simple. You can pay $1 million as a non-refundable gift to the US government. You pay another $15,000 as a processing fee, and in return, you get permanent residency. Businesses can sponsor their star employees for about $2 million plus the $15,000 hit. And hovering on the horizon, the platinum card is at $5 million, which promises 270 tax-free days in the US on foreign earnings. Your spouse and your children under 20 and 21 can join you, but they each have to also pay the same amount. So for a family of 4, you're looking at over $4 million.
Excitingly for me and for the country, we've just launched the Trump Gold Card. It was about 30 minutes from now. The site goes up and all funds go to the United States government. It could be a tremendous amount of money. It'll also be able to have people like this keep, as an example, just one example, there are a lot of examples, people just buying them. It's somewhat like a green card, but with big advantages over a green card.
But this is not a new wealth lane. It comes at a heavy cost to the traditional immigration system. The H-1B visa fee have shot up from $200,000 to $500,000 to $100,000 now, and that's a massive jump. Social media checks are now mandatory for all H-1B and H-4 visa applicants. Travel bans now blanket almost 19 countries, and more are likely to queue up. And family separations have been put in effect for deportations as well. Green cards rely on skills, family or jobs, and can take up to 12 to 15 years or more, especially with backlogs. EB-5 needed $800,000 to $1 million invested, with 10 jobs created and funds could return. But gold card demand is a pure gift, with no jobs or refunds needed, just fast processing and a 5-year citizenship path. So here's the reality. If you are an Indian software engineer who's been in America for more than 15 years on an H-1B visa waiting for your green card, you're now facing higher fee, tougher scrutiny and no clear path forward. But if you're a billionaire from anywhere in the world, you can skip the entire system for $1 million. The rules for what qualifies as a specialty occupation have now become stricter, heading to more denials. And there's been no relief for the employment-based green card backlog. The big question that we're asking tonight, will the gold card squeeze out jobs and slots for employment based on green cards? And does it kill the American dream for skilled workers and students from India? But more important, is US immigration now just pay to play for the ultra-rich? Joining us on the show is Ravi Lothumala, immigrant expert, live from Dallas, Texas in the United States. Also with us is Ravindra, who's also a spokesperson for the Republican Party. He's also live from US right now. Ambassador Prabhu Dayal is also with us. He's an author and former Indian diplomat. Ambassador Dayal, I want to come to you first, sir. From a US administration point of view, how do one justify moving away from, an investment and job creation model to now a pay for green card and a pay for gold card model?
Well, the newly launched US Gold Card program has created fears among traditional green card aspirants, particularly those from countries with long backlogs like India, because it is seen as a system that prioritizes wealthy individuals over existing applicants and potentially undermines or replaces traditional merit-based immigration pathways. Now, the Gold Card program is designed as an alternative, expedited pathway to permanent residency for wealthy investors. So, what this process will do is enrich the treasury. These people who will come on gold cards will not be competing for the jobs with green card applicants. Now, although it will not directly phase out the green card system or prevent those currently lined for a green card from continuing their process, it may have indirect effects on the overall immigration system and is part of a broader shift in US immigration policies, as you were pointing out. Now, the Gold Card program does not immediately cancel or disqualify existing green card applications. Lawful residents and applicants in the queue remain secure, provided they stay compliant with immigration laws. However, a new focus on wealth-based programs might lead to fewer resources being available for traditional family or employment-based channels, which could slow down processing times for some applicants. So this could create a two-tiered system that favors the rich while making entry harder for low and middle-income immigrants. So in other words, the launch of the Gold Card coincides with the US administration's other strict immigration crackdowns, including the rapid deportation, higher H-1B fees, and a pause on application from certain countries.
All right. Thank you for setting that in motion. Nirmal Abraham, political analyst and also a US expert, is also with us on the show. I want to come to you, Ravindra Gadampalli. He is also a spokesperson for the Republican Party. Ravindra, how are you justifying the gold card, given that many are looking at it today as cash for passport, given that there will be checks and balances that the federal agency will carry out as far as those who are applying for gold card is concerned? But how does it really differ from the checks and balances that you had in place for a green card? And so clearly today, if I'm an Indian who's living in the US, the policies, the systems are favoring me only if I have money and if I have more cash in hand.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. The main reason for this gold card for the Trump administration, see, the country is running under the influence of under the Democrat policy. The country was completely ruined, and it was the national debts was increased, and illegal immigrants was increased in the country. And the Trump administration realizes that most of the money which they spend, Democrat government spent, is on healthcare, which is completely for illegal immigrants' healthcare. Okay, that way the administration. But that still
doesn't answer my question, sir. Yes.
Yeah, administration realized that the money poured on where, and money has to bring from the where. Okay, based on the $36 trillion debt is there. So we have to recover some of the debts during the administration of Trump administration. So the advisors has gave him an indication that the recovery should get from the wealthy immigrants. So they wanted to attract the people all over the world, whoever is interested to come to the dream of America and invest in America. So for that, we need to create a path to do the business. If in case, if you don't have a wealthy immigrants should not come into the country and they cannot able to invest in the country, then other countries will attract the wealthy people. So America came forward and attracting the wealthy people to come here and to do the business as an American citizen does. So for that reason, so we have given a path. The Trump administration has given a path to providing a $1 million and initial draft was the $5 million green card. Now, they attract more people into the country. Apart from what they were doing for the H-1B related the processing green card, family basic processing green card, those numbers will be remain for them, and they are going to create the new numbers for this wealthy attracting wealthy immigrants to the country. Okay. So that way, it will be beneficial to the American government and American people.
All right.
So
clearly beneficial to the American government for sure. I think I agree with that. But Nirmal Ibrahim, how about Indians who have the American dream today? And as I was quoting early on, somebody who's been living in the US hoping to get a green card is continued to face backlogs and delays, and today if they have the money, they can expedite getting that green card, or the gold card rather, but green card will still take its own time. Nirmal Ibrahim.
Well, it is true. From an Indian's perspective, you are right. We might feel that it's unfair that if you have 8.5 crore rupees, you can directly purchase citizenship in a country that is otherwise very difficult to get into immigration-wise. But from an American perspective, I think it is good for the government. And I also think that if you look at history of all the countries that have introduced gold cards, like Portugal or Spain or Austria or even Singapore, they've all been able to generate jobs as well as generate investment. So Trump is right in that regard. And also green cards, I would say, it's only a temporary thing. I think a lot of people are disappointed by the way things are going for Indians at the moment. But as soon as, because immigration laws are not decided usually by the president, it will be or can be changed if Congress, the majority in the Congress changes. So let's wait for 2026 November. If things change and if Democrats outnumber Republicans in the Congress, we might change it. We might find a difference. Or in 2028, if Trump is removed from office and someone else gets in from the Democratic Party, things could change. So green card, H-1B visa, that's a different story. But this, for the American citizen, for the American government, it is good because the people who are capable of spending 9 crore Indian rupees or $1 million US will pretty much be buying a house there, maybe building a business there. And his average spending or her average spending would be way higher than the average American, which means more tax revenue for the American government. So from an American perspective, purely from the government's perspective, I think it's a very good scheme. And I don't think 1 million is a higher amount, because if you compare some of the other countries, Singapore, the entry requirement is close to $7 million US. Even New Zealand, a smaller country that we often not even talk about, has an investment requirement of 3 million. Austria has close to 10 million. So compared to that, the US gold visa requirement is pretty low and the benefits are high. But for Indians, for skilled employees, not just Indians, any skilled employee, it might feel a little unfair.
Yeah, and that's what they're feeling. I mean, that's what they're writing on social media as well, feeling a bit unfair as to the waiting time and the process that's needed to secure a green card. Ambassador Prabhudayal, several countries, including Canada, UK, and many European countries, as Nirmal Ibrahim also pointed out, do have a visa for investment scheme. But this Trump card, when you compare it internationally in terms of cost, benefit, attractiveness, many would find it to be far more lucrative than many European countries. I mean, you're getting a gold card for as low as 9 crore Indian rupees there.
Well, certainly, the gold card scheme is intended to attract investments into America through the residency route. Every country has the right to decide its immigration-related programs and its investment-related programs. And if the Trump administration has brought in place the gold card scheme, I think they are fully entitled to do so. how many people would be applying for gold card visas as compared to green cards? The number would be very small. So to think that the entire green card system would be in disarray may be a little unfair and it may be a little hasty. For some time, for sure, there may be an increase in the backlogs because the human resources which are required for processing will be diverted towards the gold cards if there are applicants.
Okay.
But, and this is a fundamental but, things will ease out and the green card processing should continue as normal. However, there is a definite change in the policy of the Trump administration in the sense that it has shown itself to be less willing to have immigrant workers. They have imposed high H-1B visa fees, and that is an indication that they want to keep foreigners out to the extent possible because Trump's policy is America first. And he wants to make sure that Americans who want placements in positions where they want to, work and are skilled enough, then they are not elbowed out by immigrants. So in other words, the gold card scheme will bring in money into the treasury, but I don't think that green card applicants need be too worried about their own prospect in the longer term because of the gold card scheme only.
All right. So, given that, Nirmal Abraham, given that, the gold card essentially replaces the project-linked EB5 investments that mandated at least 10 jobs to be created if one were to come through that route, ensuring that there's more money flowing into treasuries, does that necessarily mean that America will prosper? Given that, there is no investment being made essentially in the US?
Well, you couldn't say no investment is being made. No investment is required to be made, would be the right statement. But if you generally think from a perspective of an HNI, high net worth individuals, they're usually either linked to real estate or investments or business. So these people, when they step into another country, they would pursue what they pursued in their home country, which is either a business or getting into real estate or investments. All three are lucrative for the government. That's one, because let's say, take for example, if a person builds a company there or invests in a project, that money flows into the economy. And the HNI and his employees, for that matter, when they purchase, that also goes back to the economy as tax revenue. So I don't think it's, the requirement is out. As you rightly said, EB5 had a requirement of creating at least 10 US jobs. This does not have a requirement. But we will have to wait and see. I mean, because at the moment, Trump's officials have said that this is not replacing any of the present visas. This is just a new visa. We'll have to wait and see. But if that is even if that is the case, I think investments will be made because HNIs are expected to make investments in companies and start businesses. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that will be an issue for the American economy.
Okay, but there's no requirement. The expectation is that, those HNIs who do end up going for gold card would, voluntarily make those investments. There is no restriction there to make an investment. So let me take this question, from Ravindra Godampalli. Ravindra, the fact that, the program is essentially based on financial contribution, devoid of merit, devoid of skill, how are, your MAGA cadres going to see it going forward? Because not many people have been happy when, Trump first spoke about need for more skilled labor into the US. So that pitch hasn't gone down very well with MAGA supporter base. How are they going to look at this gold card? What are you reading? What are the initial reactions coming in?
You mean to say that the MAGA's perspective?
Yes.
Yeah, MAGAs definitely, we're always seeing in the social media, even if I try to say something, MAGAs will always react that, all immigrants go out and all immigrants. That is their slogan. But government perspective is different, administrative perspective is different. MAGA is people say something, but government has to run with the money. Without the money, government will not run. With this treasure, we need to fulfill the needs of the America. If we wanted to make America first, definitely need money. So when we are looking at the EB5 program, EB5 program will not bring any money to the treasury. Our H1B is H1 through the H1B, EB2, EB1 is bringing the talent into the country. So definitely the Trump administration is parallelly is going. One side, they are bringing the talent into the nation. The other side is, to fulfill the treasury, which they are spending it. So the way, the way Trump administration is focused, one side what they promised is bringing down in the national debts. So one side bringing the business into the country, in the mechanical manufacturing industries into the country. So these things if we wanted to fulfill it, definitely, we have to bring the talent, we have to bring the wealthy people. So as other panelists said, so all other countries in the world, developing countries or developed countries, how they are giving the residences by taking the money into their treasury. Okay, the same rule is applying. Their same rule is following the Trump administration to bring the wealthy immigrants. So that way the treasury will be, national debts will be reduced.
Okay.
Definitely MAGA will not accept anybody because their fundamentals are always like that. So we don't care about what MAGA people says.
Are you sure you want to say that on the national television? You don't care about what MAGA has to say?
See, checks and balances will be there. So
Okay.
people say that, this country is built with the immigrants, not with the, if you say that one thing is only one required, you say that it cannot be possible at all.
I'm glad you said that. I know that, but I'm not sure the core voter base of Donald Trump knows that. But anyway, moving back to the future of immigration policy in the US, Ambassador Dayal, with this shift, how does the future of immigration policy looks like to you? You talked about this two-tier structure that has been created. Do you think this two-tier structure is here to stay, with the wealthy immigrants now finding favors with the government, at least in the interim, in the next 1 or 2 years, up until perhaps November next year?
The Trump administration has displayed that its immigration-related policies are going to be tough. There are no two ways to judge the situation. However, the gold visa will not impact the situation as regards green card applicants beyond a minimal extent. There was earlier the EB-5 investor visa program to which you referred, and that required job creation. So earlier too, investors were being brought into America or encouraged to come in through these sort of the programs, the EB-5. And what the administration has done is to make things simpler. The gold card requires no job creation, but it only requires a direct financial contribution to the US Treasury. It's perhaps more expensive, but simpler in terms of requirements. However, as I mentioned earlier, there are other impediments which may be faced by H-1B visa holders, their families. For instance, many families, according to media reports, are stranded in India due to a new US Department of State policy mandating social media screening. Now, this has led to mass cancellations and rescheduling of visa appointments, pushing many into 2026, jeopardizing jobs and disrupting family life. So that is the sort of problem which normal visa applicants, particularly those applying for H-1B visas or even green card applicants, will face. Not any sort of new challenge on account of the gold visa program.
All right. Nirmala Bram, are applicants going to face the same challenges vis-a-vis their social media, their policy stance, whether they support Israel or whether they're supporters of Palestine, and that could decide the fate, or whether they're going to get a US visa or not? For a family of, let's say, 4 people looking to move into US in next 5 to 10 years, what should be their strategy? Should it be, the EB-5 route? Or should they now look at, if they have enough money, look at a gold card route, which could be more politically driven, may be sustainable, may not be sustainable?
I think vetting will be done in both the cases. As you rightly said, if you're a supporter or if you're against Israel, you might not end up getting even the gold card. You might end up losing your processing fee. That's true. But in terms of what to plan for the next 10 years, I would say wait for at least 11 months, because you'll see in November what the trend is and whether Trump will remain in office or not. And the reason I'm saying that is because there was 2 months back, you must have noticed a headline that said Trump has essentially reversed all the executive orders of Joe Biden. And this happens in all presidencies. This was not passed by the Congress. It was actually an executive order of Donald Trump, which is expected to change immediately when the next president comes in, especially if it's a Democrat. So, things could change in that regard. Even H-1B visa, remember in 2017, Trump brought restrictions. He lifted those restrictions a year later. So you never know how things are going to change with Trump. But if Trump is out of the office or Republicans are out of the office, then yes, things will look different for H-1B as well as EB-1, 2, and 5 visas. And the other thing that I need to add is I think gold card, the shape and the layout might change, but it might remain if it's successful, even if it's Kamala Harris who comes in next. The reason is there's one thing that the US official said: green card holders take jobs, gold card holders make jobs.
Okay.
So that essentially is the principle. That's right. It will remain, is what I think.
Okay, that's an interesting analogy. Before I let you all go, Ravindra Gadampalli, a lot of people are looking at this move as cash for passport, style program, and that's the criticism that the US government, the US administration is also facing. How do you respond to these people?
See, people will definitely say, cash for passport or cash for the green card.
It is cash for gold card, isn't it?
It's definitely, we are not running out of it. The slogan, whatever it goes on, cash for it, we need cash for the government. No matter what it is, we need cash for the America. Okay, so cash is flowing out. We need to get the cash inside too. Based on tariffs, what we are talking today, based on immigration, what we are talking today, we are spending a lot of money to send the illegal immigrants out of the country. And this other way, we have to get the money from immigrants. Okay, that is what the treasury will look. Treasury will always look for where the money goes out. The money comes out from, we have to get the money to the treasury from there itself. So that is the reason all this process is going on. And as Nirmal said, one side, we have to create the jobs, and other side, we have to generate the jobs, and other side, we have to create the wealth too. We need to create the jobs for Americans.
Only time will tell whether there's enough and more interest, and whether your gold card holders will be job creators or not. But I wish you well for that, since you are a part of the Republican Party. Ravindra, Ambassador.
We are hoping good for the country. Definitely,
okay.
Trump administration will bring good for the American people.
All right, right. Ambassador Prabhudayal, Nirmal Abram, thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out, for joining us on the show. And we continue to track, of course, the latest emerging from the US by the way of that gold card. And there is criticism flowing in as to whether there's a for sale sign across the US border, and you can now enter the US, become a US citizen if you have $1 million, which is akin to 9 crore rupees. And that is for one person. If you have 4 people in your family, multiply that with 4. And that's the route to American dream. But that's all the time we have in your interest. Thank you very much for watching.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है।
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया।
अब टेंशन मत लीजिए, IIFL फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस आगे बढ़ाइए।
लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे, अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए। IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात।
Our very first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025 on the 20th and 21st of December at Taj, Talkutir, Kolkata.
EIILM presents Bomber Lorry, Associate Sponsor. Mukhora Chowk, Associate Sponsor. Alliance Broadband, Associate Sponsor.
कुछ भी खा नहीं पा रहा हूँ, बहुत अपसेट हूँ। Take a date, not bites. No added sugar, प्रिजर्वेटिव के बिना। डेट्स, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया Lion Dates Nut Bites.
Lion Date Nut Bites. A resurgent India is racing towards the Viksit Bharat goal, braving global economic headwinds. Bulletproofing our economy from these uncertainties are Bharat's homegrown businesses. Powered by tech-led innovation, Indian entrepreneurs are truly scaling up, riding the next wave of disruption with AI and cloud to break into the big global league. TV9 Network in association with SAP presents Visionaries of Viksit Bharat, a series celebrating inspirational business leaders shaping tomorrow. Watch them take an iconic leap at Visionaries of Viksit Bharat conclaves. Exclusively on News9.
इस सीजन में हम आपको सैर कराएंगे ईस्टर्न यूरोप की एक ब्यूटीफुल कंट्री बेलारूस में।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
First up, we have a big development coming in from the court. Delhi court has rejected the anticipatory bail plea of Luthra brothers. With the verdict, the Luthras now face arrest upon landing. The brothers were detained in Thailand and had in fact sought anticipatory bail for 4 weeks. Big breaking coming in at this point. Remember, Luthra brothers were detained in Thailand and they are going to be deported. In fact, Goa Chief Minister spoke a short while ago and said that they will be brought to Goa soon. We'll get to that in a bit, but I'm being joined by my colleague Jitendra Bhati at this point. Good evening, Jitendra. What are the details? What were the arguments in the court? क्या arguments थे कोर्ट में?
बिल्कुल, देखिए कोर्ट में इस मामले पर सुनवाई हुई तो जो